speech I chose to cover was John F. Kennedy's inaugural address. His address covered the topics of liberty, poverty, and Americans' responsibility to their nation. He started off his address by addressing the fellow leaders of the country as well as the previous leaders and the citizens of America. Through his minor messages throughout the whole entire speech, he addressed each topic to who it pertained to. And then his main topics were clear throughout the whole entire speech, but at the end he summed it up by saying, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." He also directed this towards other nations and saying, "Don't ask what our country can do for you, but what together we can do for all of mankind to have a better quality of life." His major messages were directed towards, like I said, freedom, poverty, and Americans' responsibility. But he also had many minor responsibilities that went to other nations about us working together for peace and better discoveries and working together and not seeing it as a weakness. He also made it clear that although we are willing to help you and help those who are weak help themselves, we are not weak, and we will stand up for our country, and we will fight for the liberty that we have, and we're not planning on going anywhere, and we're standing firm. His techniques included good contrast and imagery. Each one of his minor details had a contrast. For example, do not negotiate out of fear, but do not fear to negotiate. He's saying it's not weakness to work with other countries, but that it can be better for both of them. He also used imagery by saying the torch has now been passed to a new generation of Americans. Some of his techniques he used were his pronunciation and his volume and rate and pause. These are also mentioned in the book. His delivery was made very well. His pronunciation and volume made it where the audience could hear him very well, and the rate and pause for each minor message made it so that each one was understood. If he wouldn't have used good rate and pause, then the minor messages would have ran together and been missed. He started off really well by analyzing his audience, which is mentioned in chapter 2. He also had good language, effective language by being specific on what topic he was covering and who it was directed towards, and using correct information. This is mentioned in chapter 9. He also had good delivery by having appropriate attire for the occasion, standing still and standing tall, and having good eye contact with his audience. That's mentioned in chapter 10. I feel that this speech was a very successful speech. I feel like he motivated his audience, and that this is a good one to learn from because he used techniques that are mentioned in the book. I could have seen myself in the audience because this speech was directed to all Americans. Even though I wasn't alive at the time, I still found it motivational. And if I would have been in the audience, I would have been motivated and proud to be an American. That's it.
Yay!